Thursday, March 21st, Arch Advocate Podcast YouTube clip. More bullshit from the news. Listen, yesterday, there was something that happened in the world that you didn't hear about. No, because on Fox News and on CNN and on MSNBC, what were they talking about? The 2020 election, right? Which isn't going to happen until the very end of the year 2020. That's what they're talking about on the news yesterday. Well, I guess New Zealand has kind of, run its course. There's too much confusion there. We can't make heads or tails of it, so let's just not talk about it. Well, skip forward to Wednesday, March 20th. And what do we have? A man tries to burn 51 children alive in a school bus. According to the New York Times, let me just read to you the headline. It says Italian bus driver kidnaps busloads of students. Oh, okay, New York Times. What kind of Italian man was this? Was he an insane, drunk Italian man? He's Italian. Italy's, that's where Rome is. That's where Vatican City is. Was he a Catholic? Thank you, New York Times, for telling us an Italian man kidnaps a busload of students. And then we have the Irish Times. I'm just reading this off of somebody else's Facebook post. The Irish Times, driver abducts school children and sets bus on fire in Italy. So that sounds like two different things. It sounds like he abducted some children in this one action and then went over here and did another action of setting a bus on fire. No, here's exactly what happened. A man who lived in Italy, who was from Senegal, who was a professional bus driver with a DUI on his record and a sexual assault of a minor on his record, who was still legally in the profession of driving a bus full of school children, kidnapped said bus full of school children. 51 children. 51 children, people. I have 2 children. This was a bus full of children. And the way that he wanted to kill them was by pouring gasoline all over the bus, which he did, and then lighting it on fire, which he also did. And if you bothered to even Google this story and just read 3 or 4 articles on the interwebs, right? You will find there's a constant pattern in just about every article written. It is an absolute divine intervention, an act of God, that all of these people that were on this bus, 51 children and a couple of adults, escaped this fire completely unscathed. Now, maybe the reason why this isn't being talked about in the news is because we can't have a story of a black man trying to light 51 children on fire until they die. A man from Senegal. Now, one of the things that you'll notice in this story, if you read through the articles, is that the police have not been able to find any sort of relationship between this man, his religion, and the actions. So basically, don't worry, everybody. It wasn't the Muslims. We can't find anything that ties those two together, Islam and this dude and what he did. Only the thing is that he comes from Senegal. He's Senegalese, I don't know, whatever. But in that country, 92% of the population of that country is Muslim. 92%. I don't think Italy is 92% Catholic. I don't think England or the United States, Australia or South Africa, I don't think, as it is that we are all Christian nations, I don't think any one of those nations that I just mentioned is 92% Christian. 92%. That means out of every 10 dudes that you see in Senegal, one of those dudes is not a Muslim. And it just so happens that it's the one dude who's had his legs removed from the knees, because it's actually less than 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10 men, 1 out of 10 people in Senegal is not a Muslim. Less than 1 out of 10. So yeah, there's pretty much a tie there. Oh, and also the reason why he wanted to burn 51 children alive until they died was because he wanted to demand and protest the Italian government keeping the wave of immigrants that the EU has been paying for, that have been flooding into their country and raping everybody and stealing and getting immediately on their welfare. He wanted to let the government know that this was no longer acceptable, that the bad, evil Italian people who were clearly not as good of a man as him, that they needed to start doing good, or else he would light some children on fire. This is the sickness. Hey, you better be as good as me. Well, why? What'll happen? Well, if you're not as good as me, I'll light your children on fire. This is the climate that we're living in. A man tried to light 51 children on fire, and it is a miracle, a verifiable act of God, that not a single person except for that dude was hurt. Anyways, I just wanted to make sure nobody missed that story, people. That was yesterday. Today is the 21st of March, Thursday. And yesterday, a man tried to light 51 children on fire as an act to let the Italian government know that those, the government people, those are the bad people. I'm the good people. I'm the one that's willing to light 51 children on fire to make my point. This is what we're up against. Don't miss this story, and don't lose sight. Like, when you turn on the news and there's no news on TV except for, let's talk about what's going to happen at the very end of next year. Well, that's not news, that's future. You can talk about Beto O'Rourke all you want. Talk about Elizabeth Warren, talk about all those people, Kirsten Gillibrand, all those knuckleheads. Doesn't matter for another year and a half, more than a year and a half. And a black man from Senegal, a nation of 92% Muslims, tries to light 51 children on fire, and you got nothing to say about this. Oh, well, you don't want to appear to be blackophobic or Islamophobic. Dude tried to light 51 children on fire. He tried to murder 51 children by way of burning them to death. This is the world that we're living in. Don't miss it. Anyways, also, please tune in to the podcast. If you're into podcasts on a daily basis, it's 5 days a week. Also, you see that subscribe button? Would you please hit that? Thank you very much, and I will talk to you on tomorrow's podcast.